think of Alabama? It's interesting. They looked. They have this big win over Georgia. Then they play poorly. Now they get the shutout over Missouri. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts. I watched some of that game in the 3:30 window.
I did not watch one play of this game.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the stats right now. Now we know going into this game that Missouri would probably have been more like a 10 or 11 point dog, but it ballooned all the way up close to 17 because the status of Brady Cook was in doubt. I don't recall exactly what the issue is. I believe it's a finger.
Okay.
He has an issue with a finger, and he was most likely not going to play. They decided to play him, and he didn't play long.
Right.
You see, he went 7 of 12 for 30 yards, so he was largely ineffective. And apparently, he left the game not because he got benched, but he left the game because of the injury. They also didn't play their best running back, Nate Noel, who's one of the best backs in the conference. He did not start, so I know they had those injuries going into the game. So Missouri was playing at a pretty big disadvantage, but also Missouri, what have they really shown us this year? They were tested all the way to the wire against Boston College. They were blown out of the stadium against Texas A&M.
Right.
Vandy, now that actually looks like a decent effort, them posting your best win of the year against Vandy in overtime, though. And Vandy, I don't want to oversell Vandy. I'm high on Vandy right now, but
yeah,
they're not a great team, of course. So those are Missouri's results that are really meaningful this year. I may be forgetting some game in there, but they're still a top 30 or 35 team in the country. And for Alabama to shut them out when Alabama's defense has been highly questionable this year is pretty impressive. We see Jalen Milroe threw 26 times, 215 yards. Justice Haynes, this guy's ultra talented back.
Yeah.
And he ran for almost 10 yards per carry. And I want to see what Ryan Williams did. 4 catches, 53 yards. Nothing fabulous there. They didn't need it, obviously. Jeremy Bernard is a professional receiver. He is a Xavier Restrepo Miami guy. Like, he knows how to play the position. 5 catches, 82 yards. Yeah, this is a defense that racked up, well, just 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. And obviously, this was not much of a game.
Well, I wish I would have. I'd probably taken a look at the Missouri health situation before I wagered on that game. I thought that game would have a little bit more points to it. Haynes at running back did impress me in that game. When I saw Alabama's offense on the field, he looked pretty good running the football. And I had some questions on whether Alabama had that true kind of like bell cow running back that they've had in the past. Not saying that he's on that kind of level, but yeah, he ran the ball really effectively in that game. I was impressed. It's just kind of interesting to see Bama, and I was with Missouri being a fraudulent, earlier in the year. Although, I will say this, and on to Texas A&M. Maybe Texas A&M blowing them out was more about Texas A&M in the way they're playing football right now, because that was a really nice win over LSU yesterday.
They were so good once they swung that momentum mid-third quarter and brought in Marcel Reed. And I said this, I posted a video right after the game. I don't know if Mike Elko already had that determined, that after they punted the first 2 trips in the third quarter that he was going to make a quarterback switch, or he just felt that the momentum swing hit just right because they brought in Marcel Reed in relief of Connor Wegman after they got the interception. So they're down 17-7. Right. Nussmeier makes a bad decision.
Yeah.
The defensive back, can't think of the guy's name. He's an excellent player. Anyway, for Texas A&M, baits him, and Nussmeier's running almost a full sprint to his left and tries to throw it across the field. And you can see the Texas A&M DB baits him, picks it off, runs it all the way down to the 8-yard line. And so it's not like they brought in Reed to start a drive at the 25-yard line and just, this is our quarterback switch, boom. He brings him in. They're at the 8-yard line, and boom, he runs in a touchdown, and then he left him in for the rest of the game. So I don't know if that was just kind of a in the moment, we're going to get the running quarterback in because I've got to play for him, and then boom, he scores the touchdown and the place is rocking, and let's just leave him in, or if it was a premeditated decision by Mike Elko. But regardless, Mike Elko is a really good coach.
Yeah, I'll say this. I didn't get a chance to watch much of that game because I was watching more Penn State, Wisconsin, the evening game on NBC for probably obvious reasons. But in any case, the one thing that it kind of kept on impressing me about Texas A&M and seeing some of the highlights of the game is every time LSU made a push, Texas A&M would come back at them, and they were very aggressive, able to push the ball down the field. And you're right. I think Elko's done a really, really good job there. I was kind of maybe buying LSU a little bit too much going into that game. I thought they would pull that one out in a really close one, but that might be a statement win for A&M.
Well, if you would have seen this game from the start all the way to the last drive or two of the third quarter, LSU was by far the better team. They should have had at least a 20-point lead. They were up 17-7. At that point, they had a long 87-yard drive in which they should have cashed in for a touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal, and they missed 3 field goals.
Yeah, well, Nussmeier at times I thought was playing really good football this year, and then
he was.
Yeah, and then he throws this unfortunate pick, and totally it seems like that swayed the game.
I can't remember where I heard this yesterday, and it was prior to the game. It wasn't from Fowler or Herb Street. I think it was Booger McFarland, but I don't want to say for sure. But somebody said that Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the country.
Wow. They said Nussmeier's the best, even over Cam Ward?
Yes.
Wow. Or Shador, even, for that matter.
I'm not saying that this was a competent opinion. I'm just saying it kind of, I did a double take. Like I'm watching games and where did I hear that from?
Yeah, that might be lacking competence, actually. I can think of a few names I might put ahead of him.
Yes,
so
he's not.